few years back, I while doing tile work, I discovered a incredibly useful tool for laying out even framing work. Um, Using a tile laser, I was able to get perfectly square uh, dimensions drawn out on the floor for the slab. So it's perfect right angle every corner, and so you just measure out from the post and make a mark where you want the outside wall, and then you use the laser to uh, indicate where to draw your lines on the floor, and then lay them out. And it just works beautifully. I'm a big fan. It makes it so much easier to get everything square and plumb and parallel. So what I do is I set it out on one corner and then draw the lines out two ways, and then set it on the other corner so it lines up with the other post in this case, and then line it up to the one line I've just drawn on the floor. And to make it easier to see in places where I need to end it real quick, I just lay a little plastic medicine bottle cap down, and it works beautiful. Okay, so here, just I want to make sure and confirm that the slab is perfectly level, or if I need to shorten studs anywhere just to compensate for dips in the concrete. And so basically I'm making a mark every foot along the way, and then what I do is I come back and um, um, using a laser level, I check the height on each one where the concrete is, and take note of it on a piece of paper so that I know where I need to make shorter studs. Now, some people don't go to all this trouble, but I like floors that are perfectly level, or as level as I can get them. And this is I think, the most straightforward way to do it without a lot of shimming and whatnot. So there is no such thing as a perfectly level, flat concrete pour anywhere, I don't think. So um, in this case, I was fortunate because my slab is only high where it's close to the posts that go into the footings. Um, what they did was they poured concrete footings, of course, when they set the posts, and then they came back and poured the slab over it, and it kind of, then they finished it, and it kind of swells up a little bit right near the posts. So it's probably a quarter-inch higher, maybe, for, I don't know, 6 inches, something like that. So it's good for me to know when I'm building the walls, I can make the stud in that location a quarter-inch shorter than the rest, so that it just evens it out on the top. So, and this is pretty slow, so we're gonna speed this up a bit. Okay, here I'm laying out the inner wall, outer office wall, and what I want to do here is so that I can get large things in and out. I'm going to make a double door. I've got several doors left over from remodeling in the farmhouse that um, I can use because I replaced them all with 6-panel doors in the house. So what I'm going to do here is take 2 of those leftover doors, and I'll just have them face each other and cover the latch hole in one and or the doorknob hole in one, and just put a flat plate and hinge them both, and then have the other one have the handle and whatnot on the other one, so that I can turn them into a double door setup. That way I have a full 60 inches of width coming and going in the office. I can move big desks. I can move. There's some printers and some other things I want to put in there, computer controlled stuff. So it's important to have that width. And of course, it's always important to carefully measure twice, and cut once is the expression, but measure it all out, place it on the floor, and mark the markings on the floor, and then go from that with your wood pieces and whatnot, so that everything will come out just the way you want it. For any of you that are curious, I bought one of those Milwaukee cordless 12-inch compound miter saws, and I bought it on, and I mounted it on a Bosch retractable self-retracting cart, and for miter saws, and I just love the setup. It's I don't need to run cords. That saw is incredible. I mean, it just does such a good job. It's got the LED light that shows you where your cut line is and everything. It's just fantastic. And then combined with that cart, every time I use that cart, I've got a Bosch table saw too on one of those carts, and every time I raise or lower them, it just puts a smile on my face. How easy and simple and nice it is. So there's the first one. I cut the 1/4 inch off that I needed so that when it's all together, the wall will be the same level height on the top. Okay, now that I have the odd stud set up, I'm gonna lay out all the rest of the studs and nail them together with the header and the footer to complete this wall section, so I can put it up, and then I'll stand her up and nail her to the posts. And here you can see we've got I'm getting it all ready to stand it up. I want to have the nail gun ready and the power driver ready, so I can put nails into the concrete. I've got the bottom of the wall coated with a generous quotient of liquid nails, heavy duty, this stuff is fantastic. I mean, I've had to remove stuff that's been glued down like that, and it'll actually break the concrete before the glue will let go. So, or the wood, one of the two. So there I am standing her up. and get it all lined up perfect with that line on the floor. And I'll just make sure it's tight against the post, and then I'll set one nail in there just to hold it upright for me. There we go. And then from there, it's time to start driving the power nails into the concrete. You know, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but over the years I've tried wearing hats and stocking caps and ball caps and everything. And for me, the thing that seems to work the best when I'm working, it soaks up the sweat and doesn't get me too hot or too cold, is just a plain old bandana. So now that I got one on the post back there, the wall is the edge of the wall lined up perfectly with the post. So so I know it's plumb. And now I'm gonna just finish. I've got the one power nail into the concrete on the end here. So then from here on out, we're just gonna finish nailing all of these. And here we're gonna frame up the opposite wall. On the ends of the walls I'm using, normally I would use just 2 studs and then some scraps in between the two for my corner beam. But on this one, because there's going to be a wall on there's going to be a second floor above this, and the wall is there's going to be a wall on there that sits above these. So I'm using 3 solid 2x4s just for the extra strength. Yep, time to feed the nail gun. This old Bostitch nail gun's been with me forever. It's a good old gun. But to be honest, I'm kind of looking forward to trying to get. I want to try the new Milwaukee cordless 18 volt framing nailer because I've heard it's very... So here I'm laying out measuring the distance between the two walls, so I can get a nice tight header cut. The footer won't be as long because of the door. And here we have a nice tight header to go in there. Just right. Man, that LED light on the cut on the miter saw just makes it so nice. Okay. So now I'll frame up the rest of this end wall. And here we have the completed office walls. Put that last connecting piece on the header there. It's still, you know, because it's only anchored at the posts in the back, you can still wiggle it a little bit, but once I get the floor beams on above, going laterally to the side posts in the building, it'll all be solid as a rock. So with that, I hope you guys like it. I'll put the next part on, the framing, as soon as I finish that, and we'll go from there. Thanks.